Are you struggling with sugar cravings while you're going through the menopause transition? If so, you are not alone. And what we're going to discuss today is why that's happening and what you can do about it. So join me for today's Nutrition Coffee Chat. And while you're at it, click the subscription button below and the little notification bell so that you get everything you need to create healthy eating habits that stick. Well, it's great to connect with you again today here. And yes, if you often join me here, you'll recognize that my background has changed again. I am not in my kitchen today. I'm in my hotel room here. I'm doing some traveling for work, and I thought this would be a great moment to connect in with you. There's a little bit of construction noise happening here, so I apologize for that. But trust me, it is still quieter than me trying to connect with you when I am at home with the chaos of the family. So yes, while I'm out traveling, I just thought I would sit down here with my cup of coffee and have a little nutrition coffee chat with you, talking about why it is so common for sugar cravings to really increase while we're going through perimenopause or that menopause transition. There's common causes for it. I'm going to be chatting about that today, as well as what you can do to address it. Because I'm known for my work with helping people overcome sugar cravings. I'm known for my work supporting people through the menopause transition. So I thought I would bring both of those together for you today. And yes, what you'll find is that those 30-day quit sugar challenges, they're not going to address what's going on here. They're Band-Aid solutions that aren't really going to address the real situation. And I'm all about going deep, identifying the root causes of what's going on so that you can create sustained change and healthy eating habits that really stick. So what's going on that drives up sugar cravings at this phase in life? 3 common factors happening. The first is interruptions in our sleep. Yes, while we're going through this phase of life, our sleep is often not as good a quality as it was before. We can have a harder time falling asleep because the brain is just worrying as we're trying to lie there, solving all the world's problems, I like to say, while we're trying to sleep. The second is that we can be more easily woken up. And when we are woken up through the night, it's harder to fall back asleep again, which leads to lack of sleep, night after night after night. And what research really shows is that when we have lack of sleep, it causes us to crave sugar. The sugar cravings increase. And then we also live in a world surrounded by a lot of high sugar foods. And when we're tired, we have less ability to resist them. So we're craving them more and we have less, ability to resist it. And so it makes sense that those sugar cravings are happening during this life phase when sleep isn't as good as it was before. So that's the first root cause. The second root cause are hormone shifts. Yes, this phase of life is marked by dramatic shifts in our hormones. And often people think about estrogen when I'm talking about hormone shifts in the menopause transition. But it's not just about estrogen. Our progesterone also shifts during this phase. The perimenopause time is when things are kind of chaotic before things stop. And progesterone is also nicknamed the chill out hormone because during our reproductive years, when we get that wave of it each month, it causes us to chill out. And so we're used to kind of the intensity of our emotions and stress going up, and then the chill out hormone comes and then goes up through the month, and then it comes and chills us out. And yet during this phase of life, that hormone doesn't come in its classic, it's monthly time that we've gotten used to over our reproductive years. And so our bodies are looking for that relief. And you know what also causes us to chill out and have that relief? Sugar. So when our bodies aren't naturally producing that relief, we're craving it and we turn to the sugar. So that's going on too. So we've got the lack of sleep driving the cravings. We've got the hormone shifts or the lack of progesterone coming, causing the cravings. And then third of all is stress levels. For a lot of us during this life phase, it's marked by a lot of stress. The clients I'm working with are very often high achievers, successful people. So we've got really big jobs with a lot of pressures, a lot of stress. We're lawyers, we're health professionals, directors, C-suite folks, that sort of thing. And so we're used to functioning with a lot of stress. Also, many of us have a lot of family commitments too. We're raising kiddos, often teenagers, not an easy life phase as well to be parenting. And then often many of us are the kind of classic sandwich generation where there's also stresses coming from older generations that we're partially or solely responsible for as well. So we've got the pressures, from parenting kiddos, from supporting our older generations there. And then we often are also volunteering and involved in our communities and that too. So there's a lot on our plates, a lot causing us stress. And for many of us, our go-to mechanism for stress management is stress eating or emotional eating. So if stress has always led you to turn to the sugar, right now we've got the stress cranked up. So guess what? You're going to be drawn to the sugar. And even if that's only maybe one of your self-care tools when the stress is high, at this phase of life, oftentimes our schedules are just jam-packed. It is very difficult to find time for self-care. And so we reach for that sugar. It's a really go-to for many of us. So, and those three things can really mount on top of each other, right? We've got lack of sleep, we've got high stress levels, we've got the hormone shifts happening. It's no wonder that for many of us, the sugar cravings ramp up and up and up and up, and it can make us think that perhaps we have a sugar addiction. So considering this, what can we do? Well, as I said, you can see why a 30-day sugar detox or quick fix isn't actually going to be a quick fix. It's just a Band-Aid, not actually addressing the root causes of what's going on. So what will help you create sustained decrease in your sugar cravings? It's addressing those root causes. So sleep, making sure you have good sleep hygiene, aiming to go to bed similar time every night, turning those screens off a good, maybe 30 minutes, maybe longer before going to bed, doing kind of calm down, relaxing activities before bed. And perhaps if your sleep is really disturbed, exploring what's called CBTI, so cognitive behavior therapy for insomnia. There's some emerging research showing that CBTI, cognitive behavior therapy for insomnia, can be helpful for people going through that menopause transition who are really having their sleep impacted. So worth exploring. The second one is that hormone shift. So it's having a discussion with your primary care provider about whether hormone therapy might be a fit for you. It's all about getting individualized advice for your specific situation. I'm not going to, in this place, not my role as a dietitian, and also I don't know your individual situation about whether it's a fit for you, but it's worth exploring. The third one is stress management, addressing those stress levels. What I really recommend is aiming to incorporate a little bit of mindfulness time every day. And I'm not talking about hours. Pretty much none of us can fit hours in right now, but can you find 10 minutes? 10 minutes a day, day after day after day. Sustained can really help lower those chronic stress levels. Those chronic stress levels that we don't even usually identify as stress because that's just how we operate. That's just our norm. And so, but by lowering those chronic stress levels, we have more capacity to address the higher stress that we've got going on and less likely to turn to the sugar. It's also about being a little bit picky or being really careful with what we say yes to. Are there things that are already on our plate, proverbial plate, that we can delegate or we can say no to? Having those healthy boundaries can really, it's hard to do, but having healthy boundaries is a way to help us address overeating sugar. So yes, it's not kind of quick fix solutions here, but they're things that really can have a significant impact on your sugar cravings. And so if you are interested in exploring some other root causes that might be contributing to the intensity of your sugar cravings, that may be making you think, do I have a sugar addiction? Let's explore if you have some other kind of secret hidden root causes. That's what I created my quiz to do, to address what might be going on for you, and again, some practical solutions to help you create sustained decrease in your cravings. I've got the link in the description box here below. Well, it's been wonderful to connect with you here this month. I will be back again next month, and in the meantime, enjoy healthy eating.